Welcome to the T26 channel and welcome back to the Team of the Week series, where we take a look at all of the players in the US men's national team picture and try to put the top performers into a starting 11 that can work and hopefully helps us track towards how we might be most effective in the 2026 World Cup. This week was a little bit tough because we still have players like Anthony Robinson, Malik Tillman, and Ricardo Pepi who are either injured or coming off of injuries. And we also have a lot of players whose club situations aren't so certain. Think about Weston McKennie and Yunus Musa. But let's be honest, Weston McKennie, he's going to force his way back into Juventus' starting lineup and eventually get the armband. And the other outlier is Gio Reyna, who just completed a transfer from Borussia Dortmund to Borussia Mönchengladbach. So he was not available over the weekend. Hopefully, he's available next weekend for us and can get into the mix. With all that being said, I tried to get creative and had to adjust the formation a little bit from a 4-3-3 to a 3-5-2 this week. I know it's not perfect and some players are getting snubbed, but that's what we've got to run with. So let's get into it. So starting off at the back, our goalie is going to be Matt Freese of NYCFC. Matt Freese played the full 90 minutes and kept a clean sheet in a 1-0 win over FC Cincinnati. He had 5 saves, 2 of which came from shots inside the box. His passing was below average, but he made the saves he needed to and kept the ball out of the back of the net. Moving forward, it's looking more and more like Matt Turner and Matt Freese are going to be the two goalies who are battling it out for the starting spot next summer. Getting into our back three, we're going to have Chris Richards, Tim Ream, and Mark McKenzie. Chris Richards of Crystal Palace is going to be our right center back. And again, the dude has been undeniably good. Realistically, since he reclaimed a starting spot last year for Palace, he maintained that form over the summer, and he's off to another good start with Palace this season. Over the weekend, he helped Crystal Palace to a 1-1 draw with Nottingham Forest. He had 4 clearances and 1 blocked shot in this matchup and won 4 of his 6 aerial and ground duels. This Nottingham Forest team is very, very good, and this is another standout performance for Chris Richards. Our left center back is going to be Mark McKenzie of Toulouse, who went the full 90 in a 2-0 win in League One. And Mark McKenzie, he looked confident again. He had 5 clearances and 4 blocked shots, and that's really what stood out in this performance. And now we move on to our middle center back, the centerpiece of that back line, Tim Ream of Charlotte FC. And Tim played all 90 minutes in a 1-0 win over New York Red Bulls. He had 7 clearances, 2 interceptions, and a 92% passing accuracy while completing 6 of his 9 long balls. Tim Ream remains our best ball-playing center back. It's not up for debate. Now we move into our midfield 5, and on the right wing, we're going to have Serginho Dest. In this formation, he's largely playing as a wingback, and he can slot back in and go a little bit deeper if he needs to, kind of create that back 4 effect. However, I don't think we will because of the defensive tendencies that our midfield will bring. Over the weekend, Dest played the full 90 minutes in a 4-2 win over Groningen, and in this match, he had 1 assist and 3 key passes that really helped drive the offense. He completed 3 of his 5 dribbles, and that's not telling the whole story. On the ball, he continues to look like the most deceptive player for PSV and within the US men's national team. Even though he might not always be beating a man, he's putting every player on their heels. Next, we're going to move into the middle of the park to look at our 3 central midfielders, and we're going to start with Johnny Cardoso of Atletico Madrid. And Johnny continues to start at his new club. He played 68 minutes in a 1-1 draw on Saturday and continues to be that perfect example of a balanced midfielder. He completed 33 of 38 passes, 2 of 2 long balls, won 6 of his 8 duels, and had 3 clearances, 3 interceptions, and 3 tackles. Johnny brings a balance to a dual pivot in the midfield, and we're privileged to watch him learn and grow and develop with a club like Athletic Madrid. He's only 23 years old, and his reading of the game is superb. Johnny Cardoso, we need to persist on him. He will figure it out, just like Chris Richards and just like Malik Tillman. Going into the heart of that midfield, we're looking at Tyler Adams of Bournemouth. And Tyler Adams, he played 88 minutes in a 1-0 win over Wolves this weekend. He completed 37 of his 41 passes and 3 of his 6 long balls. His offensive contributions were largely what we expect from him, and his defense was solid as usual. But in this match, we actually saw the two combine, and he created Bournemouth's only goal through a tackle. His tackle in the open field led directly to their goal and gave them the win. Tyler Adams also has a good reading of the game and is a little bit more on the defensive side of things. But that has its place, and it has a lot of value, especially if he can stay healthy. And our third player in the midfield is Tanner Tessman of Olympique Lyon in France. And Tanner again went the full 90 minutes in a 3-0 win. He looks to have locked down his starting spot and is very comfortable within his club. That dual pivot position, now that there's no more uncertainty in the midfield, seems to be 100% his to lose. And he is like Johnny, where he's a good balance of offensive and defensive mix. Maybe not at quite the same level, but he's showing growth. In this game, he completed 67 of 71 passes and completed 2 of 4 long balls and won 5 of his 7 ground duels. Tanner is on the ball a lot. And that is a great thing for him because that will continue to drive his game forward. He also had 1 interception and 4 tackles, so we can see him reading the game at a high level as well. We know Poch is very high on Tanner, and if he continues to get these solid minutes at Lyon, we're going to see him come back into the national team picture. He may not always start, but he's going to be a reliable piece if he continues to perform. Now we move to the other wing, the left wing of our midfield 5, and we're going to see Christian Pulisic. And the reason I said that Dest could slot back and create a little bit of a back 4 is because we don't expect Christian to do that. Christian is not a wingback. He can do it. We've seen him suffer through it. We don't want to see that again. We need him running at players and going forward. And that's what I want him to do here. Over the weekend, he at AC Milan suffered a loss to Cremonese at home. That's not a good look. But I think that the club's going to get hampered by the coach a little bit, who likes to sit at the back and wait, and he's not going to utilize his attackers enough. So Christian, Leao, Santi Jimenez, whoever's going to be up top in that attacking 3, they need to be more efficient. Christian did create. He had 1 shot on target, 4 key passes, and honestly, he should have had an assist, but it was wasted by his striker, and we can't have that in Allegri ball. We need to be more clinical. So, while his match wasn't perfect, he is performing. And finally, we have our attacking 2, Josh Sargent and Haji Wright. Josh Sargent from Norwich City, he cannot be stopped. He's played 4 matches so far for Norwich, 3 in the EFL Championship, 1 in a cup match, and he scored in all 4. Over the weekend, they did suffer a 2-1 loss, but he had a great goal where he made a good run across his defender, brought the ball down, and ended up chipping the keeper to put his team back on the scoreboard and give them a shot. Our other striker is Haji Wright of Coventry, and Haji played 79 minutes in a 7-1 win over QPR in the EFL Championship. In this match, Haji had a brace. They were both good, low-driven balls that he was able to bury in the back of the net. And while it was an absolute rout, I'm sure he had a lot of help. We're not going to ignore a brace. That is absolutely fantastic from Haji. I'm thrilled for him. He's also scoring at a rapid pace. If he and Josh can challenge each other and push each other, we may see 4 true strikers come 2026, with one of them being a little bit of winger depth. Looking back to this weekend, though, he had 3 total shots. 2 of them went in the back of the net, and he also won 9 of his 15 ground duels. So this shows that Haji is not just a poacher, but he is a finisher, and he is actually contributing in multiple areas on the field. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, we had to get a little creative. We had to actually snub somebody who had a fantastic week for the sake of the formation. And that player was Aidan Morris of Middlesbrough. And this weekend, he put on another man of the match performance for his club. And honestly, this hot start is not surprising. Before his injury last year, he was playing well and looking comfortable with his club. He's just building on that now. And everything that he's doing seems to be working. He's looking comfortable, aggressive, and effective in his press, and he's as good as ever on the ball. Last weekend, he completed 47 of his 52 passes, and one of them was a good, low-driven cross that wound up in the back of the net. So not only did he play really well, he got on the score sheet with an assist. Aidan Morris, he's our honorable mention for this week. Unfortunately, he just didn't fit right into the lineup. All right, guys, that's everything I've got for you today. Leave a like and a comment in the comment section down below. Would this formation work for us? Is it completely off base? Who would you bring in if we did have to go with a 3-5-2? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.